What's up, people? It's your boy Mex, the WrestleManiac. We're back again with another episode, chopping up Dynamite. I'm with GG. I'm with NK. What are we saying, guys?
Good. The boys are back in town.
I know. It's been a couple of weeks. I think we last spoke just before All Out.
And just before things went to crap.
It's all changed. It's all changed.
Yeah. Bro. I mean, I was even looking back at some of the just highlights of the shows. I was getting ready for this one today, just like what we were talking about and stuff. And it's just like, predicting Punk to be the champion and what Punk is going to do as champion. And we're in a completely different space now. I mean, we're going to start off with talking about what is the new AEW title match that's going to happen at Grand Slam. And quite a few other title matches that we have on the show. As you guys know, anyway, everyone here is a creator, everyone out here putting out that content. So head to the description. You can catch NK on Wrestling's channel. It's in the description. And of course, GG on his channel, GG on Wrestling, link in the description. Guys, let us jump into it. Like I said, our first point, and kind of the headline from this show, and will probably main event or, going into next week. We have the AEW Grand Slam World Title match is set. The Blackpool Combat Club boys head to head. This is what everyone predicted would be the final. A lot of pleasantries to kind of end this show. But there's a lot has been said in terms of, how the titles being booked through no fault of these guys. If anything, they've done their best work in kind of keeping the title, out of the mud, so to speak, while all of that other kind of stuff clouded it. For many people, and we'll throw it to you, GG, first. This was your point. For many people, Danielson is the favorite to walk out of here with the title. GG, what's your thoughts? What's your prediction on who's going to be the new AEW World Champion?
I think it's a given that it's Bryan Danielson. Daniel Bryanson. I've got a hot take, man. This is the bigger match, and it makes sense to be on this show. But if you're gonna give it to Bryan, I would have liked to have Sammy versus Danielson. I think it would have just made a more interesting dynamic. I think it would have been yes, it would have been maybe a bit more given that it is going to be Danielson, but just that cloud of that hint of it possibly being Sammy, and I think the heel face dynamic would have just been through the roof. People would have been so much happier for Danielson to go over Sammy than Mox. I don't know how MJF plays into this because I think there's this whole discourse going on right now. Can he just cash in his chip at any time, which we know isn't the case. But then can he at least maybe start the show in his gear and say, I want my title match tonight? Maybe if it's after Danielson wins the belt or included in a triple threat, something. I think MJF should be the next champ. I don't see, because all you're going to do now is Danielson wins and then MJF takes the belt. Maybe we wait till Full Gear, maybe, for that, which, it's fine. Nice little build, hopefully. But I think MJF needs to be the next champ. He's hot at the moment. He's a hot prospect. He's got all the eyes on him. He's just made his return. What better way to solidify his return and him coming back and the changing of the guard effectively? We don't know what's going on with all this investigation, than MJF to be the world champion. I'm all for Danielson winning it, and I love what they've done with him, beating all the former champions that he can beat. Beating Hangman, who he's not, or he did beat once, hasn't been able to beat Jericho at all in his career. And now has to obviously overcome Moxley, which he couldn't do. I think it's good. I like what they're doing. I like it, but for me, I just think it just muddies things with MJF. Because we just know that MJF is going to have the belt. So, and obviously it sounds silly because we knew who the first four champs were going to be when AEW started. You know, we were waiting for, you know, Kenny to take the belt and then Hangman to take the belt from Kenny. But now I don't know. I just want MJF to have the belt. That's all I want now. And I think he needs it and deserves it.
For me, like, you raised some very, very good points, stuff that I hadn't even considered yet, especially like MJF. And I wasn't too, his promo, it kind of threw me yesterday because like your promo was going at Mox. Like,
yeah,
we pretty much know Mox is probably disappearing after next week. So like, why was the focus on Mox so heavy? NK, in terms of the winner, who your prediction is, and then obviously like Gigi just went on to kind of look at the aftermath of the title with MJF kind of, you know, looming. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was also that's why I was kind of, I think like Danielson is the right bet and is the safe option. But that's why when MJF was going at Mox so much, that made me think, wait, are they gonna do Mox instead? Which I think making him a 3-time champion in the space of like a year is egregious. Like, as much as I love boxers, as much as like Mox has been, you know, like
it's overkill.
It's too much. Like, it's too much. And I thought Danielson as champion is deserved. And this would kind of be like it kind of be like a poetic moment because his first ever match was at AEW Grand Slam in AEW, and then he wins the title the very next year at AEW Grand Slam. And Mox versus Danielson, considering all things, probably, yes, they've done it before, but like, it's a big match and it feels like a match worthy of Arthur Ashe. Because I was even worried heading into Grand Slam that it's not looking Grand Slammy, but the card has pulled together.
It picked up,
the card has pulled together, and now it looks like, okay, this is something worthy of Grand Slam. But in regards to MJF, it's kind of a shame because I think the built-in storyline was that MJF was going to take it off Punk, and that made perfect sense. But because of, you know, backstage shenanigans, it's kind of like they've been forced to, like, you know, they've put in a position that they don't want to be in, and it's unfortunate that someone of Danielson's stature is going to have like a very short title reign. But it's necessary because MJF needs to be champ.
But that's what sours me on it, though. Just knowing that, like, MJF is waiting in the wings. It's not like, like I mentioned before, where the whole first 4 champs, we kind of knew where it was going, but we know that MJF is literally ready to take that belt. It's not like, you know, where we had before. We know who it's gonna be, but we're not even involved with each other yet. Do you know what I mean? We're not even planting seeds for, you know, the Kenny or whatever it is down the line. But that's what sours me, because I just know that MJF is just gonna go, that's mine now. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't. Do you know what it is? Like, I think if done correctly, like, they can sell it to me that Danielson loses his title. Especially, I mean, I don't like the whole faction that Stokely's got. I don't like them at all. But, you know, they can be used in a way where, you know, they interfere or they apprehend Danielson and they get the title off him. But, you know, I think it's the best outcome of a bad situation. And I'm excited for the match. And I'm excited for the visual of Danielson holding the title. And then if they're going to set up MJF, at least give like up until the build to Full Gear, just do what we did with Moxley. Banger after banger after banger, week to week to week to week to week to week. So at least, like, okay, the title reign short, but it leaves an impression. Like, put him in there with put him in there with Phoenix, put him in there with whoever, with Buddy Murphy, whoever could just draw out a good match. So at least we come out of the ring saying, okay, like, yeah, it was short, but, you know, it was enjoyable. And, you know, because MJF is going to go on a reign of terror. It's going to be just madness. And
settings.
And what better way for it to start if, like I said, comes out at the start of the show, fully geared up. Well, you're not even scheduled to have a match tonight. What are you doing? And he says, I want the main event, the real main event, after these two smash each other up. And then he just comes in. Danielson has his yes moment, and MJF's music hits. And we know.
I'd want a feud between those two. I'd want if we're gonna do Danielson and MJF, I'd want something.
I think it would be a good feud, but I want the chaos, man. I want it to just be Danielson's like crowning moment, like you said, at Grand Slam, confetti, whatever you do, and then MJF just takes it straight away, and it's like, you dickhead, like that. I've convinced myself that's what I want now, man.
I'm always here for chaos. But yeah, I think that's my issue now. Like now on record, Danielson has said he didn't come here to ever be world champion. He doesn't want to be world champion, in fact. So I don't think he would necessarily mind a short reign. But as a fan of Danielson, one of my favorites ever, I don't want to see him be treated like basically jobbed out like that. I think
if you do it in the way I said, then do you know what I mean? Him and Moxley just battered each other. Like it's that. And
then he just comes and takes the bones basically, and
it's that edge cash in, man. It's, you know what I mean? That
I hear it. I like NK's idea of, okay, if it's gonna not last long, let's just make him defend it every week. Just put on loads of great matches. At least it becomes memorable for something, and then he drops it whenever he drops it. And at the same time, like, yes, Mox 3 times would be overkill, but basically how they gave Mox the second title reign, the interim title reign, because no one should kind of win their first world title in that situation. That's how I'm kind of feeling for Danielson now. Like maybe not Mox again, but if Chris Jericho was to have, went forward, then at least Chris Jericho can pick up the title in this kind of non-glamorous way. He's held it before, and someone's big crowning moment is still to come, and MJF can triumph over Chris Jericho. I know there's face and heel dynamics, but that's probably more of how I feel. Like you're saying, we know MJF is coming, so it's like I don't want anyone's first title reign to just kind of end up at this.
I feel like this came at the worst time, because it's like that would have worked had it not been Grand Slam, and you still got to sell tickets for like Grand Slam and make it grand. So it's like, okay, like what's the biggest match? Because I think what we've seen with Grand Slam for the last 2 years, like, what's the biggest match you can do on TV? Okay, cool. Right now, our roster's depleted. Okay, the biggest match you can probably do right now is Moxley versus Danielson. And, okay, Danielson goes over. Okay, cool. But then, like you guys have brought up, it's like Danielson deserves something longer. But it's just a terrible situation, isn't it? So maybe I have a lot of sympathy for what's going on. But, yeah, it's not great, but they've made something. At least I'm very interested in tuning in next week. And the moment of Danielson winning will be a nice one. So, yeah, there's that.
I think that's really important what you're saying, like, Mex, because we've gone off course, and we know we have. So why not just correct course and just go with where it was going to go anyway, potentially? This is a question I want to ask you both then. What do you think the original plan was? Do you think it was Punk MJF at Grand Slam? Do you think it would have been, or Full Gear? Because there was probably a lot of meat there still.
I'm thinking definitely Full Gear. Like,
what would have happened at Grand Slam, do you reckon, then?
I think they just would have put on, I don't know I actually have no idea.
Punk probably would have just defended it, maybe against Omega or someone or Hangman, or just someone like a big match, obviously, but like someone that he would be like, yeah, I'm beating this guy and I move on, sort of thing.
It would have been like almost just like a dream match thing, something that we just like, because that's
like,
basically what
Tanner.
I don't know, maybe. I don't know. It would have been something like, because Omega and Danielson was just a thrown, like it didn't really have much story significance. It was like, here's the match, happens once, and then we move on. So with Grand Slam, you can kind of get away with that, and then have MJF in the background. And obviously, the whole Punk and MJF thing was a layup in it. Like it was there. It was literally how the story was supposed to go. So
yeah.
Nice one, Philip. Nice one, mate. Can I just comment as well before we move on? Yeah, whoever this Punk is in the crowd that had that silly sign, yeah, you're a muppet, man.
I was
you're
so
a muppet. You're a muppet.
I wasn't even a fan of the crowd. Were annoying me on Dynamite recently. Like during MJF's promo when he was cussing him, they were literally cheering him. I was like, bro, he's calling you lot inbred and hicks. Like I understand he's back, but like, he's a heel now. Like, play your role.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how kind of split they were for this main event of Jericho Danielson as well. Like there was a lot of pops for Jericho, man.
That's
and
one thing I was gonna say. Jericho has been excellent. Jericho was excellent in that match, and Danielson, like he played the underdog sort of thing, and I thought Jericho really looked good. And
Jericho's had a very good year.
Yeah.
Don't read that comment. Don't read that comment.
Let's not talk about that guy. So I mean, last question then. Do you think, if we're all kind of going for Danielson is gonna be the champion after the Danielson Mox match, but by the time the broadcast ends, will MJF be AEW World Champion? NK saying no.
I hope so, man. I think so.
Overkill, because I think there will be a new champion crowned at Grand Slam. Mm-hmm. So I think somebody's gonna get a championship moment, and it's not MJF. Well, some people are gonna get championship moments, and it's not MJF. So yeah.
Okay.
Actually, no, there'll be 2 champions crowned because this will be a new champion again. So yeah.
All right. I guess we only got to wait 1 week to find out what happens there. But moving on, we talked about, of course, there will be another championship. Like they've kind of littered this card of championship matches, which is good. It's Grand Slam, makes sense. AEW Atlantic title to be defended. So I think I actually missed the announcement of Pac versus Orange Cassidy, but that's what we have. The champion Pac gonna defend it against Orange Cassidy, looking to take one of his 2 titles from him. NK, how do you see this match going on the night? Are we gonna look at a new All Atlantic champion possibly?
I don't think so. I hope not, but it's entirely possible. If you look at like Pac and Orange, I think they've had 2 matches against each other, and then the triple threat with Kenny. But Orange Cassidy's never beaten Pac, and maybe if this is the stage to like Grand Slam's one of those things where even though it's only happened once, I feel like it's a stage set up for big babyface pops, and Orange Cassidy, if he were to win, would get a pop. However, I feel like that is massively undercutting Pac. Like you can't take the title off him like that quickly with a build that came relatively out of nowhere.
Okay, but you say not that quickly, but he's been defending it, just not in our direct eyesight. But he's been defending it, and it depends where they value this title. And it's not like he's not going to have nothing. He's still got the Trios title.
I know, but I just feel like, you know what? I feel like with Pac, we're stuck with, obviously with the Trio stuff, but we're seeing more of Pac now, so it feels like he's been here now. So it's like, for me, it's like, I don't know. I don't mind Orange Cassidy as a future. Like, I think they can stretch this story out even further. I feel like Orange Cassidy should get close, but not beat him. Because I think the first match they had was kind of like, Pac was like the dominating force, but then Orange Cassidy, it was kind of like the first time we've seen Orange Cassidy actually try. And then over the years, we've seen like Orange Cassidy, like he's a very competent and good wrestler. So I think this match should be like very 50-50 back and forth. Like Orange Cassidy comes super close, but doesn't do it. And then if you want to tell a story down the line where Orange Cassidy finally overcomes his rival and Pac, then he can do that. But I think right now, Pac should go home. The match will be great. The first match was amazing. These 2 have great chemistry. It's in a big arena. I'm excited, but Pac should definitely retain the All Atlantic title. And I don't know if this is a stretch, because I know Takeshita probably is coming back at the end of the year. If we're going to do All Atlantic, make it Atlantic. Make it, I want somebody who's not American to win that title. Like, make it All Atlantic.
Like Pac?
Yeah, well, somebody who's not American, to take it off Pac. Somebody who's not American, who's from, a different side of the world, take the title off him and, just really promote the Atlantic side of the title. That's what it's supposed to be.
It looks like they're indirectly trying to keep Ethan Page warm, at least, to be a contender for this title, the Canadian Ethan Page. What's your thoughts on it, Gigi?
now you said that as well, that kind of makes me inclined that Orange Cassidy may go over, because if you're Ethan Page waiting in the wings, you know, Ethan Page versus Orange Cassidy makes a bit more sense stylistically than Pac versus Ethan Page. But I don't know, man. The Pac versus Orange Cassidy is still one of my favorite AEW matches to have happened.
Yeah.
Like, one of the best matches I've seen from there. I don't know what happens, man. I want Pac to keep it. I think he's such an exciting performer, and I think the whole element of he hasn't done it for a minute, but him, you know, England is his home, and for him to be able to defend it here, and you know, he's a regular here almost, so he can he's got ties here. I don't really see Orange Cassidy at Rev Pro like defending it against like Dan Maloney or whoever it is. Do you know what I mean? Or I just don't see that happening. So I think Pac keeps it.
Unless
I'm
Cassidy
excited
takes
for
it to MOW or something. I don't know. I don't know.
But I think you nailed it on the head as well, NK. Like, I think they are trying to push it the All Atlantic in terms of it being a belt for foreigners of America, and I think, you know, you having your second champion as Orange Cassidy doesn't really drive that point home. So I think you're probably right, man. I think that kind of does play into it, and Pac.
Yeah,
Orange
I
Cassidy
think
can take a loss as well, so it's fine.
Yeah, it could do. I mean, we know we're going to get a terrific match out of it, but yeah, we're looking into obviously what's next for the title. I think someone like a Takeshita, if he does, you know, sign a permanent deal with AEW and return, then that would be what a way to kind of come back into the fold and rejoin AEW. You win the title on the first night or something like that, because obviously he's going to be being off TV for a while. This is a great way to kind of remind fans who he was.
And the crowd were behind him as well, man. It's one of them ones where like absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe like they were really high on him, and now we haven't seen him. And have Pac and Takeshita ever had a match? Because that will.
Nah, I think that match would be ridiculous. It'd be ridiculous.
Crazy.
And do it at a pay-per-view, please. Let's bring the All Out title back at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, they need to. I think this is a good step, putting it on Grand Slam, because again, it's all like visibility that we were talking about, that they haven't had for this title too much of, especially just in front of, you know, the actual crowd and not like.
It's crazy though. The All Atlantic titles on the Grand Slam, but where's the TNT Championship?
You know what? Just a quick detour, yeah. When Will Hobbs was cutting his promo, I was waiting for him to call out Wardlow. I was like, come on,
I think he was, man. Because surely he's not just going to say we're going to the next chapter without, like,
what is the next chapter?
In the chapter, like,
then,
like, it's got to be, man. It's got to be. I can't.
Yeah, Wardlow versus Will Hobbs. Yeah, do it. Sorry, Wardlow, you've been done a disservice. I know. And wrestling fans were fickle, but until we love you 1 week, we're rid of you the next week. But I need something.
It's the booking. They've just left him, and this is exactly what we said. Big man, yes, fine. The MJF stuff, classic, brilliant. Like, it didn't quite end how, you know, wanted it because of all the controversy around MJF, but I feel the ending was still sufficient from a fan's point of view. If we never knew any of the backstage stuff, it ended how it should have. And then they've just really let him down. They've just completely let him down and forgotten about him. And, you know, even since the All Out match and stuff, it's like, what's he done? Has he been on TV since then? I think he was on Rampage last week, actually. Was he?
Yeah, he cut that promo, didn't he?
He cut. Yeah, but even the promos is very.
I felt
generic,
that,
man. It's very like I'm here. People are passing me.
But it's a genuine thing that we know is happening though. Like, for him to address it, him saying, "I've seen a lot on the internet." No, don't tell us you're on the internet. I don't want to hear that you're sat there scrolling through. You're a big man. Like, I don't want to hear that. But I want you to say that I can hear your crap. I can hear what you're saying, and I'm going to change it. But he needs to now deliver and do what he said. And lose to Hobbs.
He needs to be finishing like people. Like he needs to be like. There's a lot of like guys like who are in that. They're Kip Sabian man. Them all of them type of guys. You should throw Wardlow every week. Powerbomb. He should be powerbombing man them through stages. Like, I want to see Wardlow break things. Like, don't be this. Like, I want to see Wardlow just like run riot, make him scary. Like,
Just be
right
like
now,
a vigilante babyface. Just
yeah,
just going after heels, and we know like Wardlow can hurt someone. So it's like, yeah, Wardlow, the hero, man. Like he's gonna do what we need him to do, kind of thing, and like shut up this random heel. At least
like,
do
you
that.
see what Luchasaurus was doing, yeah? Just do it as more babyfacey. Somebody provokes Wardlow, they call him out. He goes and gets it back. Power bombs, man, throws man off stage. Like,
And it's the TNT belt, man. We should have people every week going, I want this belt, I want this belt. Like, did anyone hold on? I know we're gonna get onto it. Like, maybe it's a good segue. Did any of the firm mention the TNT title?
No.
Nothing. Nope. Zero. And let's jump into it, like you said, Gigi. Stokely Hathaway. He's named his faction the Firm. His band of misfits, as I've been calling him. W. Morrissey, the Gun Club. Who else is there? Ethan Page and Lee Moriarty. The Firm. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but he basically said their mission statement is that they're not a quote-unquote traditional faction. They will come together when they need to do some kind of, stuff.
They're for hire, basically.
Yeah, they're for hire. They're contract killers, so to speak. But otherwise, they'll be on their own individual missions. The floor is you guys, because I don't like this.
This is poor. This is nasty, man. This is poor. Like, this is not what I wanted. The faction is even dead, first and foremost. Like, I wouldn't have, if it was Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, and W. Morrissey, calm. I would have been like, I mean, it's a bit, I'll be a fan. Why are the ass boys?
The ass boys.
The ass boys. That's like, why are they in the for like? Who are they do? Who are they meant to intimidate or scare? Like, cool. Lee Moriarty, you could show a darker side to him. You could, have him, put people in that devastating, submissions. W. Morrissey is self-explanatory. Ethan Page, we've seen grit. We've seen him do mad stuff on AEW. So, that as a faction, it's not the most intimidating faction in the world, but especially as people for hire, cool. The ass boys kill it. They kill the fact. They kill it. There's nothing what can you say to me that would make me as somebody orchestrating a faction say, yeah, I want them, man. If I were butchering the blade, you might as well add them into this. Where, like, do you know what I'm saying? At least add some credible man, and then the whole thing. Listen, I like Stokely Hathaway. Stokely Hathaway is many things. Intimidating is not one of them. Stokely Hathaway is best as the snarky manager. Somebody who's witty, somebody, who can get under your skin, but it's not somebody who's like, there's certain managers where they're intimidating. They're gonna sell you that these men are killers. Stokely Hathaway don't do that. He's more, that's why him and Jade made sense to me. And these are the type of promos you should have been cutting with Jade. Why are you giving, man, the ass boys? No, I don't like this faction. This faction ain't going nowhere. This faction will never be taken seriously. It's a joke thing. This is HFO all over again.
Kind of like 2.0, innit? I'll say my reason why I don't like them before Gigi tells us why he don't mind them. So again,
I'll get my rose tinted shades out.
I don't think, like, firstly for me, like, factions need to have something in common, or like at least aesthetically. These guys literally just look like they're from all different paths, right? Now, again, I like the way you said they're not intimidating, but factions don't have to be intimidating. So, what's this man's name? What's the guy that was managing FTR?
Tully Blanchard,
right? And his group now of Khan and Cage and the other brother, like, at least like them, if you said these were like the assassins and they come together to do a current job, cool, I can buy it. Or at least if
you're not going to get these kind of guys, but then you have a bunch of maybe 2 or 3 snarky guys like in the ilk of an Ethan Page and, you know, someone that was like an Ethan Page, a Miz and like a MJF, like obviously different shows and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that kind of same kind of character-ish. Like these guys are just literally, I'm plucking you from here, you from here. Like there is like no correlation. And it's just very, very weird. Like under one man's management, they're coming together to do whatever the work is. Like
he's not a manager.
Like it.
He's a friend.
He's not a manager. He's just a friend. So I don't know. What do you see in this, GG? What do you like about it?
Before I put these back on, I did just read a report that apparently Stokely has got heat backstage for putting himself over before the talent in his promos.
Really?
So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but that's what I've just read. And he's been like moved from Jade and that, like just randomly with no explanation. So could there be something to that?
So like if that's a thing, like obviously I don't know wrestler etiquette in it, but if a manager's role is to put over his people and he's put over himself first, then obviously yes, that's an issue and they have a right to be mad at him if that's, you know, etiquette within the industry. But just the whole thing's a mess. Like how can they be having this issue on day one already? Like they've just kind of, nah, man, take off the glasses and talk.
I'm putting them on, bruv. My rose-tinted glasses. I'm putting them on.
Because now we're not going to see them. Like it's like Lee Moriarty might go off and do his thing in the pure division and stuff, and this man is off doing one thing, and these people want to be tag team champions, and it's like, okay, so when are we now going to randomly see them again?
Well, the recruitment should have been
I don't know.
The Daniel Garcia storyline is almost ended. Lee Moriarty, like BCC recruitment, like it's
I wouldn't mind if they put Lee Moriarty in and not Cesaro. I don't think Cesaro should have ever joined this group. But now Cesaro's in there, Lee Moriarty hasn't got a place.
Have you seen? But come on, man, look at Lee Moriarty recently. Look at the charisma that he's exuding now, and the spotlight he's been given.
Dyed his hair,
no, not just that, man. The way he's like doing the poses and like just being cheeky with it, like that's not BCC, bruv. That's and I like that of him because his whole like Tiger style thing is a bit playful, it's a bit fun, and I like him being a bit more cocky with it instead of him being BCC like quiet, like angry type. I think this is much more suited. Now I've seen it. Like I would have been with you had you asked me like 3 weeks ago. I'd have been like, yeah, man, let's get Lee Moriarty in the BCC. Like he's a great wrestler. But now I'm seeing, you know, how he can be a bit more charismatic and a bit more fun and playful with it. I'm kind of for it. I like that they all have a clear kind of goal apart from Big Cass. Maybe he just wants to just do a badness or something. I don't know, but I do like that they've come together and they're like, right, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, and this guy's going to help us do it because he's got, you know, he's a manager or he's whatever he is, he's got some stroke backstage, he's been here for a minute, like he can do the business side of it and get us these matches and do that. So I like that they've come in with that.
Do we expect what's his face, Stokely, now to kind of come out with each when they have their singles matches and they're not doing the firm stuff? Does he now come out with them and assist them like as a manager?
Let me ask this: would you like your friend to be there for you when you're in a title match?
Fam, I don't know, man.
I think honestly, we're probably going to see him here and there, but let's be real. Most of these men ain't going to wrestle on Dynamite. They're going to be on Dark. So at the end of the day, like we ain't going to see much of these man aside from MJF interferences. That's what we're going to see these man the most. MJF, I guarantee you, when MJF wins the title, these man will be there. Other than that, there's no use for them. They're useless. I'm so sorry. I like most of the guys in the group, even the ass boys. Like they serve their purpose, but no, this is not. This took up so much promo time.
Yeah, this was.
Like, it went on for a minute. It did.
Like, I skipped the segment. I said I'm not. I like Stokely. I was even somebody who's advocated for Stokely in AEW. And I feel like even if it was just Stokely and Lee, fine. When he recruited Lee, I was even happy. I was like, okay, let's see what this is going.
Likewise.
I was like, let's see what this is going. Not these, man. No, and I feel like this is what TK does here when he likes somebody but doesn't know what to do with them. I like Andrade, but I don't know what to do with him. Andrade, a foe. I like Stokely.
Andrade, a foe.
I like Andrade, a foe.
Big up Afro.
Yeah. I like Stokely. What do I do with him? The firm. He just puts man into groups because
you know what? Even as you're saying that, I think Stokely and Morrissey, great pairing. Stokely and Moriarty, great pairing. Stokely and Ethan Page, Page don't really need him in my opinion, but would have probably been fine. Stokely and the Ass Boys, calm.
So what's the problem then?
It's them together. They don't make sense.
That's the problem.
No, but come on. Wait, though. $1 Million Man, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Did their clicks, like, they didn't all have matching gear and this, that. This is what I said I like about my wrestling and my managers. I don't like that everyone has to be necessarily a faction. Like, it can just be, right, I represent these men, and that's what it is. And I do like that. It gives me old school vibes. So that's maybe why I'm a bit more...
No, and you're correct. I don't necessarily have an issue with that. Like, if he was just like saying, okay, I'm this person's manager, I'm this person's manager, and doing them justice as a manager, like proving his worth, then cool. Like, the story's more centric around him and these kind of mid-card, not cussing them, but these mid-card guys, but the story's more Stokely centric. But they debuted as a faction. You see what I mean? There's a difference. All these people that you're mentioning, they didn't come out as a faction and then they span off into their own little divisions. They've come as one. Now they're telling us they're not going to be seen as a faction unless they get paid to. It's all just a bit convoluted. I think the personnel inside are all mixed up. But again, this is probably just let's get these guys on TV some way somehow.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think it's just part of it is right. Ethan Page needs more TV time. These don't need more TV time. Can we just bunch them together and give them all TV time? But big up Lee Moriarty, man. I'm glad he's getting some TV time either way, and I like what he's doing. So
you're glad he dyed his hair and wearing some funky pants?
I don't care about the hair, bro. Like him just being on show and and him versus Garcia come on, man, that's gonna bang.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
And I hope William Regal pats him on the shoulder and says, "Come to the locker room, man."
Cool. Okay, let's move on. We've got 2 more things to mention today coming out of the show. Let's move over to the women's division. Jamie Hayter is still unhappy with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. There was a tag match, Britt Baker and Serena Deeb versus Athena and Toni Storm. Who won that match?
Britt Baker.
Deeb Storm.
Deeb pinned Storm.
Yeah.
I totally missed that. Okay, cool. And then there was I kind of tuned back in when the post-match beatdown was happening, and Britt Baker looked like she was about to take a chair to to Toni Storm, I think it was. And then Hayter looked like she was coming in to make the save, took the chair from Britt Baker, and then proceeded to do the dirty work and hit Toni Storm with the chair, which kind of confirms she's still a heel. But she's still not happy with Britt Baker, which is good. It's a different layer to the story. Like, she's still, I'm not turning babyface just because of this. I'm still who I am. Which I liked. I just felt like this feud could do with the title. I was saying yesterday to NK, like, between this, Starks and Hobbs, what was the other one I mentioned? There's another 2 friends that are split on AEW TV. Like, we're telling the same story with 6 different people. And at least this one with the women's division could have had the title in between if they had made Jamie Hayter the world champion at All Out, but they opted not to. They opted to go with Toni Storm. I mean, Toni Storm, you saying that now, her getting pinned in this match, it's like, oh my god, like,
no, I don't know what they're perfect. It's perfect.
Why is it perfect?
Because she wants that feud with Deeb, and it was via shenanigans anyway, because Britt put the chair into the corner and then Toni Storm whacked into the chair and then Deeb got the roll up. So makes sense in that way. Toni hasn't lost too much stock because, you know, it was a cheaty win, and that match will bang. And now, if you did it the other way around, would you care about a Deeb and Toni Storm feud or match without a belt?
I don't really care about anything in the women's division, if I'm completely honest.
It's gonna bang. That match is gonna be sick, bro. I love Serena Deeb, man. I'm so glad she was on TV this week, man. I think she's sick.
She is.
You know, I have a slightly more positive spin to this, even though I still think Hater should have won.
Take the shades. Take the shades.
No. Now that we're here, we've always said that we want more storylines away from the title.
I agree. Yeah.
And I feel like this is what the way they've done it now. I feel like I don't think they're gonna go exactly the route I want them to go, but the fact that they're still teasing tension between Britt and Jamie, but they're still like right now they're just friends bickering. I still think you could do that storyline of Jamie winning and Britt being mad at her. I still think you could go through that avenue. You could do like, oh, they patch things up, and then when Jamie actually wins, you know, it's like, okay, I've won the title now, Britt, we're friends again. And Britt's like, no, are you mad? And you could still go through that avenue through this, or you could have, you know, Jamie go on her own. And I feel like this is kind of what Britt's best at. Britt is best at storylines that don't involve the title, where she's having because this is what I've wanted from the women's division, a personal feud. Yeah. That means something, and Jamie
got mileage
and Britt
as well.
Means something. However, the bad side of it is I don't give a damn about the women's title anymore.
Give me the shades back. Give me the shades back.
This is it.
Give me the shades back.
This is it.
That's the. So it's kind of like, okay, you solved an issue I've had where there's no storylines outside the women's title. This storyline is independent from the women's title, but now, and I'm a big Toni Storm fan. What is there about her in AEW other than the fact that she can work? That's captivating. She can work. And the thing, but it's not even like she's putting on worldies like Shida was. She's putting on good, and Toni Storm's a very good wrestler. Like, she's very good. But it's not even like, at least Shida was putting on like wowzers, or Rio's putting on like, so it was like, no, it's a good match. She hasn't wrestled a bad match in AEW, but like, I don't care about Toni. And then even if Thunder Rosa comes back, I don't care about that either. So I think they should have just, and I keep forgetting she's interim champ, meaning they're reload Thunder Rosa again. They should have gave Toni the actual belt. Cool. If you wanted Toni to go over at All Out, let her go over. But at Full Gear or whatever, you should have had JB here or works her way up to #1 contender, beats Toni Storm, then you do the Britt Baker feud properly. I don't mind the way they've done it now, but I know they're not going to end it that way. I know they're going to reload Thunder Rosa. That's why I'm a bit annoyed. But
they have to, though, man. They ain't got no choice with that.
No, stripper. You know, stripper of the title.
Of the title, yeah, that's very important.
Of the title. Because she's not these men not CM Punk. CM Punk, at least we understood it. Understood interim because I know there's money to be made.
Financials.
There's no financials here. Nobody cares. We don't care. We really don't care. Nobody was saying there was no campaign for Toni Storm to be champ. There was no campaign for Thunder. We don't care. We don't care.
The one thing I'll say is like I'm not against how they're doing Jamie and Britt. Like you said, they can still lead back to the title. Yeah, I'm for it. I like this story. But when Britt Baker lost the title initially, that exactly was my hope. Right, they can have the World Championship. They've even brought in the TBS Championship, and now they've got a Britt Baker because Britt Baker is the golden goose. So they're gonna have 3 stories concurrently in the women's division. That's what I hoped for. They haven't delivered on that.
It's one.
it's
And
still
it's Britt.
one, and I'll even argue it's the TBS title more so than whatever Thunder done straight after winning the title, and Britt Baker. I think she took some time off after losing that match. So it was Jade. It was just whatever Jade was doing. So this is what I'm thinking. If they're only ever gonna tell one story, then this should be it. Admittedly, like you said, they can take their time with it, and there's still some mileage, so that's cool. But if you're only gonna tell one, then let it be this one, because if it's not this one, if you're going to tell this story, then that means the champion is going to suffer, and that's all I see happening. Like Toni Storm, like you said, is just going to put on good matches. Just put on good matches, but there's no story. This is
going to be that. When people said like MJF and CM Punk overshadowed Hangman's reign, this is worse. This is it.
Much worse. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The champion is secondary, and maybe even third behind Jade and TBS title. That's my only worry.
Yeah, but Serena Deeb versus Toni Storm is going to be sick.
Wait, that's not a singles match though.
That's
I know. Why'd you remind me?
and that's the other thing I had to say. How did Athena get back into a 4-way when she lost the TBS title match the other week?
Well, she snuck in as a baddie. She can sneak into anything, bro.
This is again what I said last time. TK doing, and I've noticed, and I know TK has his weird phases, because I noticed with the tag titles, like both a couple like pay-per-views ago, he loved a triple threat tag match. Now I'm thinking he's gonna start spamming women's 4-ways, because he's done it recently, and he's gonna start spamming women's 4-ways until he gets bored of them.
Easy way to put them all on TV.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's star power, man. I think it just adds to what you're saying about Toni Storm maybe not being like an important champ. If you're gonna at least put Britt Baker in there to add a little spice, it's Grand Slam. So I kind of see why he's done it. But
is Britt Baker the fourth person in there? So Britt, Serena, and Athena. And Toni.
I think, do you know what? Like that tag match was solid. Like I really enjoyed that match. The Toni and Deeb exchanges were slick as anything. So I think this 4-way will deliver.
Yeah,
and I think
the one at All Out the one at All Out was very good.
But do you know what the problem with these women's matches are? Yeah, the people like the matches. I think generally women's division match wise has gotten better. Like the match quality is improved. People don't care, and there's no heat in the matches. The crowd. If you notice at the All Out match, the match wasn't bad, but the crowd were only hot when Jamie got involved, and the crowd don't care. Like, and this is the thing about like wrestling. Like, you can wrestle well, and this is down to the book. I'm not blaming it all on the women, even though I do feel like these women have some deficiencies. The crowd don't care anymore. Like Britt Baker's a heel, and she's lost. Like, she's not as popular with the overall audience as she was before. I couldn't tell you who cares about Toni Storm in terms of like who's actually invested in her. I couldn't tell you about Deeb. I couldn't tell you about Athena. So the match is going to be a well-worked match that's going to get claps, and a Jamie Hayter pop at the end when the biggest pop of the match will be Jamie Hayter's cameo appearance.
Yeah,
this is the thing, though, isn't it? It's that happy medium of having a popular, solid champion and the Jamie Hayter waiting in the wings that everyone's kind of waiting for and behind as well. But it's getting that level right. It's very tricky. Very tricky.
Yeah, Toni Storm is beloved by fans, but I just don't know.
Care
even as a character, I haven't really explored anything character-wise with her. So her reign is going to be very similar to Thunder Rosa's. Very similar.
I still think there's progress, though. I think progress has been made. Like, I don't think we're as sad as we usually are when we bring up the women and this kind of segment. I think progress has been made. Like you said, the match quality has improved, and whether or not this is the way we liked it, we all agreed probably like maybe a month or two ago that the Britt Baker next. You've said it for time. Like, Britt Baker is your other feud that doesn't have to involve the title because she's got star power. This is what we wanted, but it's just come at a difficult place where Toni Storm isn't the over champion, and it's kind of she may suffer because of it. Whether or not it's been how we wanted it or how we wanted it to be, this is kind of what we wanted. So
Yeah, it's just to make everything feel at least equally or important, or make it look like you're trying with everything. And I just feel like, okay, yeah, whatever Britt's involved in, they will make feel important. But then the issue is when Britt's not the champion, she will suffer from what people said Hangman suffered from when CM Punk and MJF was going on. And Hangman was still doing good stuff. Like, Hangman was genuinely doing very good stuff. And he just didn't get his accolades because everyone cared about Punk and MJF.
Yeah, and I feel like, I wonder if Statlander, I think Statlander would have eventually won the TBS title, but who knows? She might have actually won the world title. But I do think though, if Statlander, let's say Statlander was destined to win the world title, we'd have a different outlook on this, because I think she's genuinely one of the few people that is actually over and actually has like a following where it's like, okay, like we can get behind her, and yeah, but I don't know, man. I mean, it's progress, but it's like barely any, bruv. To me, it's just a new. I don't know, man. Like,
I wouldn't sure. I'm not sure if it's progress. It just always seems like for the women's division, AEW is 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and you're just kind of doing that same dance, and we're not really making a real shift. We're moving, but it's just.
It's 2 bus stops. There's one on one side of the road, one on the opposite side of the road. You want to go straight, but you're just going diagonal. You're not going anywhere. Just go to the other bus stop that's on the other side of the road. You're still on the same road. You're still there. You just move diagonally.
Up and down. Yeah.
Well, I don't feel as sad about the women's division at the moment. Like, because like I said, usually when we bring up this topic, like, it's just kills the buzz. But I don't feel as disappointed.
Yeah, because it's one feud, in it. Because Jamie Hayter, and I will say this, like, she's got something, man. She's good, man. Like, and I genuinely want them to nail the landing with that one. Like, they have to, because you can't just ride off the coattails of Jade and Britt. Like, someone new needs to step up, and then Jamie's that person, like, which is something that we haven't said about the women's division. Like, we've said, oh, we hope, but like, Jamie, we see the reaction she gets, like, and it was organic. Like, of course, the storyline plays into it, but like, Jamie's genuinely been a fan favorite.
Wardlow. It's the Wardlow push, and they're nailing it, and they're adding mileage. Just like there was hints of, oh, Wardlow's gonna do it. He's gonna turn on MJF, and it didn't happen. And they're clever with it. They're just adding mileage. They're going, no, we can do a bit more with this, and it's smart, and it's a tried and tested technique. But like you said, what happens when the inevitable happens, and we get Wardlow stale as he is now because he's got no challenges.
Yeah, just give something to your champion whilst you're doing this, and you're doing a good job of this. Just give something to your champion as well. I think that's really the message here. We're going to finish up on this last point, probably one of the other championship matches on the night next week. Arthur Ashe could see tag champs. I'm not going to say their catchphrases. I don't need it to be clipped on the internet, but yeah, man. I think that the crowning moment of these guys, and a very good summer that they have had, is on the way, because it's everyone loves the Acclaimed. It's as simple as that. Everyone literally loves the Acclaimed, and I think if they don't do it, then there's definitely going to be questions. There's going to be an inquest. There's going to be an inquest if they don't do it. What's the guys' thoughts?
They're in dangerous territory, bruv. Like, I tweeted earlier today, follow me at GGN Wrestling on Twitter, about I would love for them to really just explore this heel face dynamic between Keith and Swerve. Like, I'd love it for them to just continue being champs and having, Swerve just doing the dirty and Keith trying to, and just that kind of constant battle between them of heel and face. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that.
Because I couldn't tell. I purposely tried to listen out and I still couldn't tell. Swerve clearly gets booed on his way out now.
Oh, yeah. Keith got booed. Keith got booed.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Keith's getting booed as well, right?
Yeah, when he come out, he definitely got booed. I think he had some moments in the match where
as the match went on, like, Keith got cheered, but like
I heard a couple Keith Lee woo-woos, but like it's getting drowned out with because Swerve's just over, man, and he knows what he's doing and he's just sick with it. Like, like I said, it's dangerous territory. I think Swerve and go on.
So I was just gonna say, but do you think that they're getting booed just because everyone wants the Acclaim to win now? Not because they haven't done anything per se. Like, it's just
it's
literally that.
The power of the Acclaim, like that match here are all out here. Despite like, and again, that's why I don't like Mr. Brooks' Tigers, because it took away from what
the actual pay-per-view.
I was hypercritical of the Acclaimed, right? When they first started. I wasn't a fan of the rapping gimmicks. I hate most rapping gimmicks in wrestling. Most of them, I don't like them. But cool, they won me over. But then I was like, cool, these guys are good, solid mid-card act. I became a believer all out because the way these men had me on the edge of my seat, I was like, these men are gonna do it. And the thing is, I like Swerve and Lee. Now, I've been like a big defender of like Swerve, Keith Lee's running AEW. He's not been great, but I've been the defender of it. I think it's been fine. But it's time to take the time. I'm sorry, you cannot. Listen, the pop these men would get would be ridiculous. And like, I just think it's time. It's time. And the thing is, you can say, cool, you can look back and be like, oh, what about Keith Lee and Swerve? But I feel like with this year, there's an already built-in storyline with them two. Them two can feud each other. This is a time where you can actually.
Sorry, that's the third one I was thinking of. Sweet Swerve and Lee. Another one that's gonna break up and
yeah. But you with the Acclaimed, right? This is a team that nobody thought much of, and they genuinely got themselves over. And the "you deserve it" chants are overplayed, but they've maximized their minutes, man. And like they've worked, like they are a real success story. This has been like a weird year for AEW, but like the Acclaimed winning the tag titles is genuinely like, it's the type of stuff we wanted to see in AEW, like guys that wouldn't really get a shot anywhere else. Cause I don't even see them working in AEW. I don't see them working in other companies. Like they're not a team where it's like they're a must-see team really, but they've just got themselves over. And even big up Anthony Bowens as well, because Max Caster is always the one that we saw as he has the witty raps, the controversial raps, but Anthony's just as over.
Yeah,
like Anthony Bowens is amazing, and both of them, like they're both, and I think Anthony Bowens is the better wrestler out of the two.
Yeah, man, 100.
He is.
So
Great
it's like
worker.
both they are. I feel like right now that they are a complete tag team. They may not be the best workers, they may not be the best this, but they're just able to make you feel something. And I feel like them winning at Arthur Ashe, getting the pop, getting their moment in the sun is what wrestling's about, man. It's a feel-good moment that we need, especially in a time like this where, like, locker room politics, the morale overall in the arena, out of the arena, online isn't high. A team like the Acclaimed winning is super necessary. It's necessary. It has to happen. Why would you do a rematch if it's not happening? That's dumb.
No, of course. But that's the only thing that sours me on it all, is just that we were privy to the conversation of this happening. Like during the media scrum, someone asked that dumb question, should an audible have been called? And, it's not something you need to discuss with talent. 2, the match just happened. Like, but the fact that we saw that conversation unfold where, someone asked that question, Tony said, oh, I think we're going to do that match. And then kind of Swerve kind of defended Keith, like their team, and like why just because they've got a bit of a buzz, like why haven't we got any respect? Because we've seen that happen, that kind of sours me on it. If I didn't see that happen, I would be none the wiser, and it would just be right, that's the right decision to do. But because I kind of saw a bit of kickback from Swerve and Lee, and it made me realize like they are such a great team. They're such a talented team. I love an odd couple pairing, like big man, little man team. I think that is just such a, like Kane and X-Pac are one of my favorite teams just because of that kind of dynamic. And yeah, that's what kind of sours me on it, knowing that there was that pushback and we got to see it. And now it's like, well, tough, we're gonna do it anyway. That's what sours me on it. But it is the right call, but
Yeah.
doesn't sit well with me just because I've seen the kickback from Swerve and I hear what he's saying.
Do you feel like, obviously, if they go into a match next week, Wednesday, and they do drop the titles, it's like Tony Khan has kind of went against the grain, went against maybe what his booking would have been?
I don't think necessarily. What if the Acclaim don't win the title?
If the Acclaimed win, is it like swear? So is it like TK was easily influenced by maybe the crowd or the journalist or whatever?
I think we all know it's what should happen. Like everyone was saying, like for people to go, oh, they should have called an audible. Like I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but they were over in that match, and they maybe should have won that match at All Out. So we all can see the writings on the wall. It's the right decision. They're so over. Give them the belts. Unless you know what I mean, you're gonna really turn Keith and Swerve, and it's a real heel, and you keep that kind of weight going a bit longer for the crowd to really pop. But strike while the iron's hot. Give them the belts, and then I hope they just don't pull the trigger with Swerve and Keith straight away, man. I wouldn't even mind maybe another rematch with the Acclaimed, like the third. They lose it again, and then Swerve's a bit like, nah, come on, man. I'm sick of this. What you doing?
Yeah. I feel like there's no one else. Well, it's either Acclaimed or FTR who are the next tag champions, and then FTR is in limbo. It's in limbo, so it's like there's no one else that you've really built, and it's just like, yeah, this team has been consistently hot throughout the year, and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like cool, the specific number where they are in the rankings might not make sense, but like we can see, okay, this team has been picking up wins throughout the year. They're a credible team. They're a part of the show. It makes sense. So as a tag team, yeah, man, the Acclaimed are like, even if forget how over they are, like just in terms of tracking their year, and if you're watching it just as a product, yeah, like it makes sense.
They've been good, yeah. I think for me, the most probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to the Acclaim winning is that we've kind of went through, all the real good tag team workers have held this title since the inception of AEW. And not to say that the Acclaimed aren't good workers, because they are, but they are more heavily on their characters. And let's just see something else with these belts. Let's see, especially where the Trios Championship, that all stuff it's all being put together now, and they're gonna be putting on some absolute bangers in that division. Like, let this one just have a bit more character and be a bit more free with it, more fun with it. Like we were saying, we're kind of depleted of tag teams right now because a lot of them were formed into trios. I can't lie, I wasn't happy with seeing flipping Penta and Phoenix come to have a tag team championship match on Dynamite. I'm thinking, you literally just won the trios title.
It was random, but I'm the
match was good. Yeah. The match was very good, but I was just
the match was crazy.
It was random.
So good. The match was so good. Keith Lee going after catching Phoenix the first time, and then him going again, and then caught him again. Just little things like that, man. And that Canadian Destroyer. Oh, it's such
that
a
was
good
nice.
match.
The match was nice. I just thought like you're really stretching the people, the division. Like there's surely other tag teams. Why are they even defending their belts a week before their Grand Slam match?
Yeah.
Like I just thought, like, what is going on here? Like
I just had a thought.
What?
I think this is kind of I've justified with you. Acclaimed haven't even won the titles yet, and I'm already thinking about who should beat them for the titles.
I know who you're gonna say, and I'm with you.
House of Black.
Yep.
As a tag team.
Yeah, man.
I hear it.
The only thing with that, because these thoughts just went through my head, and then I kind of unconvinced myself, because could you imagine Max Caster like rapping and telling them they're spooky idiots, and these two kind of having to like play it off? I don't know, man.
It'll happen. Yeah,
not laugh, but I just think they're kind of so serious that it's, I don't know. Like like he would have material, but I just don't think it works for them.
I think it works if they win. Like you can't have Max Caster cuss you and then lose, but like if House of Black get cussed out and they're like, all right, cool, step in the ring, batter them, Brody King does his thing, and then Yeah, that's kind of what I see. I've retired the FTR idea because I just wanted to see FTR and the Bucks
And the
3 for
Bucks,
all the
yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
But I don't care to see them as tag team champions again. Like it was just FTR versus the Bucks. That it was the match more than the it was the match and the stakes more than the actual title. But I'm willing to move this division along and get some new faces. So yeah.
Yeah, I hear it. Cool. So that was Dynamite this past week. Like we're saying, Arthur Ashe is a grand stage. Through making some content, I ended up watching Danielson versus Omega from last year, and I just couldn't believe what I was watching. I was literally like breathtaken by just seeing these two guys come out in this packed arena, put on a brilliant match. And I thought, nah, they like this Arthur Ashe is special, and maybe them just moving into doing stadium shows. Yeah, it's got to be the next move. Just come on, do it.
100%. We need another 20K. But what I will say about Arthur Ashe Grand Slam last year, though, looking back at the card, I think this card's stronger overall.
Oh, this is better. It is better.
The card is way better. I think like last card was like it was really Kenny and the Danielson.
It was hinged. It was
Kenny
and Danielson's back. Yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah, I think that was Britt Baker was in the main event.
Britt Baker, Ruby Soho. I can't tell you what else happened. I know Danielson and not Danielson, Moxley and Kingston versus Suzuki Gun. That was fine, but yeah, like obviously, you know, when you have a match like Omega versus Omega versus Danielson, everything else is going to pale in comparison. But I feel like this card overall, top to bottom, is probably stronger.
Even
but
now,
it won't get the same reaction.
No, never that.
Never. Yeah. I was just about to say, even
it's going to
just
be very different, unfortunately.
And what they haven't even sold it out. Like they were saying, there's still tickets and stuff. But I'm just remembering, even Omega and Danielson had that Rock Hogan-esque, just the crowd going wild. No one's even touched each other yet. Like it was. Go back and watch it. Just go back and watch it. Treat yourselves, honestly. It was what a time. But yeah, Arthur Ashe next week. We're gonna see some title matches, crown the new world champion. I guess we've indirectly made our predictions. We just got to kind of see what it turns out to be next week. Any last bits, lads, before we get out of here?
Keep Matt Hardy off my TV screen. How many times have I had to tell you? And he's back again. How's he back again? How's he done it again, bruv? How does he keep finding his way back on the TV? I'm climbing my way back to the top. No, you're not, bruv. Get back. Get away.
Why are we doing Matt Hardy Derby again? That's such a what?
I don't know. Unless they're trying to warm up Darby for something. Maybe Darby gets a win and they warm him up for something. I don't know. But it was very random. They just shoehorned him in. I don't want to see it. It's on Rampage, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
The Rampage card looks better though. It looks more. I mean, it still looks B showish, but it looks B plusy. So
I don't like. Again, like I just think Rampage there needs to be kind of more stakes or stuff that plays out on Dynamite on Rampage, or like I don't know. It just feels a bit too separated. And just not so much together. And it's not separated. It's not like a brand split or anything like that. So I feel it just needs to be a bit more, if that's what they want it to be. Unless they're just going to wait until, because they said the Rampage is going live, right?
I don't know.
I think, I don't know when, but I think Rampage is going to be a live show soon.
It needs that.
I think maybe sometime in October or maybe November, it's going to be live. So maybe they're waiting for that to really put some emphasis behind it.
The talent won't be happy with that though.
Why? Because they have to work more?
Well, yeah, because they can just go Wednesday, shoot everything, go home for the rest of the week. So
I bet, yeah, but I hear it about WrestleManiac. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's what you get paid for.
I hear it. They've had it way too good for way too long.
Bruh, you've had it good. Like, it's not even like you man are doing like house shows on top of it. You're just doing 2, maybe 3 nights a week max. No, not even 2. You're doing 2 nights a week on a pay-per-view. If you go pay-per-view night, you're still resting once a week because you're not resting Rampage and Dynamite. You're probably gonna wrestle Dynamite then until next week, innit? I beg wrestle, man. Yeah.
That's the message. All right then, guys. Appreciate you lot joining. Guys, again, Wrestling's channel in the description. GG on Wrestling channel in the description. Make sure you're subscribing, like this video, and subscribe to this channel as well. and we shall see you next week.